Okay, so John, using only the things that you currently own, if you had to dispose of a body at very short notice, how would you do it?
Good question, Harry, and one that I've given a lot of thought to over the years. So, when the slow-acting poison finally does take its effect on you...
Just a quick thought. If this episode gets, like, loads of listens, we know the government's tuning in.
Yeah. Good point, yeah.
We better set off some alarm bells there.
I'm going to have to change my whole strategy now. Oh, screw it. I mean, I think I've got all the tools I need right here. I think it's always good to kind of dispose of the body as food in some way.
Sure, yeah.
So I think I would use a cheese grater and turn you, I mean my victim, into into fish flakes and feed them to the goldfish.
Wow, that would take a very long time.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the problem. That's why most murders get solved, because the criminals, they rush. You've got to take your time.
Yeah, okay. Now, how often do you need to buy a new tub of fish food?
About once every 4 months.
About once every 4 months.
Yeah.
And the contents of that fish tub, it's not big,
Not
is
huge.
it?
No, okay.
How much does it weigh?
I'm identifying a flaw, yeah. Probably several hundred U's, yeah.
You might be at it your whole life. Just get loads of fish. Get some pet piranha.
There you go, yeah.
Pet piranha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, exactly. I'll prepare by getting a bunch of tropical fish that are very hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it that way.
Yeah, that works.
Thank you. You've just become the agent in your own demise.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome everybody to Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where today we are pitching prequels, sequels and spin-offs to Fargo. We'll also be pitching some drinking games and hearing from our listeners with their listener submissions. But first we're going to talk about some of our favourite moments in the form of a plot summary, just to get you all up to speed on the film. Yeah. So I'm Harry, the host with the most free time on his hands. And joining me as always, the host with the job that works him to death, but always allows him to buy all the beers. It's John Lucas.
Oh, thank you. Oh, was that because we had to reschedule?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was some kind of plot thing. Like, did characters in this film have time on their hands? Like,
no.
Okay. Yeah, so I picked this one. I guess
these won't always be thematic. Don't ask that much of me.
No. They're already starting to stretch a little.
Yeah.
I look forward to like 100 episodes from now and you're completely bone dry.
Yeah.
So I guess before we start talking about the plot summary, I need to open with a formal apology. Because I have broken the rules of this podcast, as Harry informed me.
Oh, yeah.
I chose this film, Fargo, because I think it's fantastic. I really, really like it, and it's one I've wanted to do for a long time. Mm-hmm. I was aware that there was a TV adaptation. Mm-hmm. I have not seen it, but I kind of assumed that it was fairly, like a spin-off in name only, basically. Yeah. I thought it was probably a fairly loose adaptation because none of the original cast were in it. But no, I got a very terse text message. For those who don't know Harry, one constant bone of contention is in our friendship is that Harry sends very, aggressive text messages, very blunt text messages.
I don't hold back. I'm not good at not being blunt.
Yeah, you are very... So let me see if I can... I'll read it out.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, this is what I have to deal with, Having now watched this film, I get this text out of the blue, by the way, completely out of the blue, yesterday.
I like how you've got the tone of voice I intended perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. It's impossible not to. Having now watched this film and looked into what the TV show is, I would have vetoed this choice. I thought the show was a straight remake, not the spin-off that it is. That's not to say I didn't enjoy the film, though. A little bit of sugar at the end.
Yeah.
And there's that, and I think my text message tone is a lot more apologetic and oh, I'm really sorry. Wait.
Let's keep this fair, shall we?
Let's keep this fair.
I haven't seen the TV show either, but I have thought it was a very loose spin-off with none of the same characters. Plus, it's not directed by the Coen Brothers. It seems distant enough to me, but I don't know very much about it.
See, a little more conciliatory, open to being wrong. You're like, it's a spin-off with a different set of characters each season, which has so far always been set in, I think, Minnesota and North Dakota. It is produced by the Coen Brothers. Wikipedia says it has loose connections to the film's story and is within the same fictional universe. Which, fair.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just saying, so yeah.
But I already know that the story that I have written directly contradicts the TV show.
Fair enough, okay. Well, and
the same universe, and that's not really what I want to do, because I don't want to, one day do Terminator 1 first thing that comes to mind, and then just be okay, well now we're going to redo Terminator 2. Because I don't want to do that. I don't want it to don't want anybody to ever think that I can do a better job, that we can do a better job at writing a film than the actual filmmakers themselves.
Sure, that's
I don't
fair.
ever want to try and redo somebody else's work.
That's fine. And there's other podcasts that look at existing sequels, etc. So, no, absolutely, that's fine. And it's not something I want to get into the habit of either. But this was a film I really, really wanted to talk about. So I did stretch the rules a little bit. And so anyone listening who, is like, I'm never listening to you again, you've broken your one conceit, I do apologise. And I hope you'll come back to us. So this film, what did you think?
I thought it was really interesting. I quite enjoyed it.
Quite enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah, it really kept my attention. It's got a lot going on, and I didn't know what to think of it really. I think that partly what inspired the mood of that text was later on looking into how much of a true story it was.
Oh yeah,
and then finding out that it's not at all.
No, did that annoy you?
yeah. Well, initially it did. Yeah.
That's a classic Coen Brothers troll move, though.
It's a blatant lie.
Yeah, but I love that. It's like, but what? So what? Who cares? Like,
it's not even like it was a lie that you could have guessed earlier. It wasn't like told in a humorous way. It's like, this is based on a true story, and we tried to tell it honestly. So the survivors all wanted their names changed for privacy reasons, and fair enough. So we've done that. Yeah. No, the whole thing's bullshit.
Yeah, it's a story, but I love that. It's such a troll.
I've come around to it now, but when I first heard that, I was like, well, that changes everything. That's not fair.
You're like, I want to watch the documentary. I want to read all about it. Fair enough. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even that. I think there were some bits that I didn't quite understand.
I see.
And I didn't really know where it was going with. And I got to the end of the film and I still hadn't worked it out. Sure. And so I was like, this film deserves me to actually understand what's going on.
Sure.
I can see that this is a really good film and I have enjoyed it. What was William H. Macy's thing? What was he doing? What was this business deal he was doing with his father-in-law? I didn't understand any of that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't clock in the film that he was in debt.
Oh, okay. That's established fairly early on, but
yeah, I guess I must have missed out at the start.
Fair enough. Yeah, fairly important detail, but it's easily done. It happens.
I got that he needed the money.
Yeah, sure.
Or whatever, but I thought it was just for his life.
Well, it's a very Coen Brothers film thing to do. We've previously, I think the only Coen Brothers film we've done is The Big Lebowski, which also we both loved. Obviously, we'll definitely be doing more. But I think they're very good at doing films that are deceptively complicated, but also, even if you don't pick up on every reason, like The Big Lebowski is really convoluted. Like, the actual plot is so convoluted.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, because the plot is irrelevant. I think that's what I said in the episode. Like, the plot doesn't matter. The fun of it is just spending time with those characters.
Yeah.
And even though this is obviously a bit more dark, I think it's also the case that the plot isn't really the main... Like, the mechanics of the plot aren't really what matters. Like, if anything, the whole thing gets wrapped up very quickly and almost quite underwhelmingly. Like, she just finds him and arrests him. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it's got the iconic stuff with the wood chipper that we'll talk about, but you know what I mean? It's not like it's a big whodunit kind of situation, or it's fairly open and shut, but it's such a fun ride, I think. Another thing that we often argue about is my unwillingness on our bonus show Beyond the Box Sets. No, I never give out 10s. Yeah, I'm not. You're.
This would have been a 10 for you.
I would say this is as close to a perfect movie as I think we've done.
Really?
I really, really.
You think this is potentially the best movie we've done in the whole 140 something episodes?
I think it's up there.
Is it better than Misery?
I would say, yeah. I mean, I love Misery.
Because I remember Misery, for some reason it reminded me of it. I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I think the accents aren't a million miles away as well.
I remember you saying in Misery that that's one of the iconic roles.
Yeah.
That's one of the best roles ever or something. Yeah. And fair enough. But you think this is one
of
the best
really do. I really... What
better than Sausage Party?
What would you improve about this? What would you change? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I think the only things I didn't like about it during were things that were kind of made okay at the end when I found out it wasn't a true story.
Okay, how do you mean?
Because when they were saying at the start, we changed people's names to be respectful and respectful of the dead and stuff like that. And then a lot of stuff they were doing with the accent felt very comical.
Yes, exactly. I mean...
and it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, this feels insensitive.
Yeah, I think if it was a true story, it might seem a little insensitive, yeah.
Yeah, and so it took me a bit to get past that. And it's only now in hindsight that I can kind of enjoy that.
Okay, sure.
At the time, I didn't really find many things funny because I was like, is this okay?
Interesting. I had no such... I mean, I knew it wasn't true. I've seen this film at least 5 or 6 times before. I love it. But Yeah. By the way, congratulations to us. We are about 5-7 minutes into this episode now. We've not yet, neither of us have done a bad impersonation of the accent yet.
I'm not going to.
I'm having, every bone in my body is having to resist doing it.
I wish I could do that accent, but
it's so good.
I'm not good at accents.
No, it's perfection. Yeah. I just think it's like The Big Lebowski. It's just such a well-constructed movie. Every character, it's short. Like, considering how much goes on, it's only just over 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of characters, and I don't think there's a single scene that is like wasted. No. It's just so well constructed, and all the characters are instantly memorable, and you know exactly who they are, you know, from the first time they appear on screen, and it's just fun to watch them spinning out, or in Marge's case, being a fucking amazing police officer, like a quietly brilliant police officer.
You've said that this is potentially the best movie we've ever done.
Sure, okay.
I would like to just take a quick minute of your time.
Okay, sure, yeah.
We'll just have a quick little look through.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best, I'm saying it's in the upper echelon. Yeah.
You can just give me a no. I'm going to go through these quite quickly. Give me a no or a maybe.
Okay.
Because I know you're not going to commit to a yes right away with anything I say. So
sorry, what am I answering?
Is this film, I say, is it better than Fargo?
I see, okay, sure.
So I'll say Titanic, you might say maybe, or you might say no, because you know that, right?
Sure, yeah.
So Titanic?
No.
Gladiator?
No.
Super Mario Brothers?
No. We're not going to do 150 of these, are we?
Quick.
Oh, God.
Inception?
No.
Fifth, you know what, I'll skip over some of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
No, but these are all such different films, like...
50 First Dates?
Decidedly no.
Memento?
No.
Okay. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Maybe.
That's up there.
That's up there with the
that's
best,
a solid
yeah.
maybe. Let's see. It's not going to be.
And by the way, me saying no isn't an insult to any of these films.
Oh, I know.
Not many films
like,
are perfect.
Yeah. And like, you know, Gone Girl is a really good film, but it's not better than this.
Exactly.
The Room.
In its way, maybe.
Yeah.
No.
The Truman Show.
No.
Okay. Not Castaway. Sixth Sense.
No.
Talented Mr. Ripley.
No. I do love that film, but no.
Interstellar.
No.
Interview with the Vampire.
No.
Her.
No.
Dom Hemingway.
A classic, but no. God, remember that film?
Yeah.
That was a fun little detour we took.
Sunshine.
No, but I do really like that.
The Witches of Eastwick.
Oh, regressively, no.
Hocus Pocus.
Ooh.
See, I'm glad that you're hesitating on films that are not necessarily serious films.
Yeah, no, for what it is. No. Maybe no, I don't know. Like I think
if there was something between maybe and no.
Yeah, it's a mo. It's a mo. Well, because like I think this. Okay, here's the difference. Hocus Pocus is so much fun for me. I think it's almost unimprovable in being a fun film. But this Fargo is so smart. That's what really sets it apart. It's so clever.
With Nail Line.
Maybe.
Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, maybe. Okay, we're obviously on a good run now.
The Shining.
Maybe. We do a lot of really good films.
It's a Wonderful Life.
No. Not for me, no.
Very
good, very good.
Okay, that was 4 in a row. I'm going to skip over a couple now.
Okay.
I know it's not Krampus or Love Actually.
That was a good 4, though. Wow.
Yeah,
that was a good streak we did that Christmas, huh?
Jingle All the Way.
No.
Wall-E?
No. I like it, but no.
Being John Malkovich?
Again, like it a lot, but no.
It's not going to be Black Swan. Forrest Gump?
No.
Snowpiercer?
No. Again, like it, but no.
Garden State?
No. Decidedly no.
La La Land?
Decidedly no.
Run, Amelie, Run?
Do you mean Amelie? That was just the
Oh, yeah,
title.
sorry.
Amelie. Two very different films. Amelie, maybe. Amelie is delightful.
2001: A Space Odyssey?
Not for me.
Looper, Galaxy Quest, That Thing You Do, Of Mice and Men, The Cable Guy, Matilda?
No, but I do love it.
Oh, Matilda.
It is great. It is really good.
Solid, fantastic film. Not Waterworld.
No. Although, it's still our most popular episode.
Royal Tenenbaums?
No.
School of Rock?
No, but again, I really love it, but no.
The Boy Next Door?
What was that again? Oh, the J-Lo film. I always mix that up with The Girl Next Door, which is some crappy film about a guy who falls in love with a porn star, but no.
Spice World?
Regressively, no.
Yentl?
Obviously, no.
Labyrinth?
No.
Jerry Maguire?
No.
Driving to Hell?
No.
Blue Velvet? May,
No,
A Knight's Tale,
No.
Sausage Party,
No.
Death Becomes a Burlesque, The Big Lebowski.
So The Big Lebowski, again, because it's the same principal people ultimately, but I'd say maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a real flip a coin which of these two I prefer from them.
Yeah. Mrs. Doubtfire,
No.
Pulp Fiction,
Maybe?
Wolf Children,
No, I liked it, but no.
Dog Soldiers, Red Riding Hood, Wolf, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, The Way Way Back, Bait, The Birdcage.
Ooh, I love it so much, and it's so well put together. Maybe.
Arrival,
Ooh, no. I love Arrival, but no.
Edward Scissorhands,
No.
Elf, Jack Frost, Scrooged. I'm skipping through the seasons because they're
Yeah.
often not.
Yeah.
Inside Out,
No, but close.
okay. True Lies.
No.
I didn't think before I spoke there. E.T.,
No.
Sound of Music,
No.
Battleship.
No. You can skip all the games.
Need Speed, Truth or Dare, Clue,
Ooh. No. But I do love it.
Shape of Water,
No.
Dressmaker,
Oh, God, the Dressmaker. No.
The Martian,
No.
John Carter,
No.
The Artist.
No.
Oh, that was
Oh, we
me.
didn't. That was a joke episode anyway. We didn't teach you the artist.
Being Benjamin Button. Just Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Button. Oh, no. That was boring.
Fatal Attraction,
No.
Dangerous Liaisons,
No.
Mars Attacks,
No.
Air Force One.
No.
4 no's in a row right there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know.
Glenn Close is shit. Fully agreed now. Devil Wears Prada,
No.
Clueless.
No.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Boogie Nights,
Maybe.
Tropic Thunder.
No.
Boogie Nights, really?
I loved Boogie. You love Boogie Nights.
You think it's maybe better than Fargo?
No, you're right. It's not. It's too long. It's too long. There's bits that aren't as good. But yeah.
Geostorm, Knowing, Deep Impact, Left Behind, Day After Tomorrow. Okay. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert,
Regressively, no.
Chronicle,
No.
Girls Trip,
No.
Welcome to Marwen,
No.
Stand By Me,
No.
Shawshank Redemption,
No. Not for me.
Misery,
No, but close.
Maximum Overdrive,
No.
Django Unchained,
No.
Napoleon Dynamite,
No.
Oliver,
No.
Election,
No, but close.
What We Do in the Shadows,
No, but close.
Bram Stoker's Dracula,
No.
Lesbian Vampire Killers,
Absolutely not.
Vampire's Kiss,
No, but closer than you'd think.
Let Let the Right One In,
No, but close.
and whatever we did last week.
Fight Club? No.
Yeah.
No. Far too gory. Okay, so yeah, I'm not saying it's the greatest film ever made. I mean, you throw tens
a long
around.
time.
You throw tens around willy nilly.
I do not. I throw tens around to films that are exactly what I wanted. They're essentially perfect films. That there's nothing wrong with them.
Sure. Well, that's what I'm saying about this. But I'm just a little bit more selective with that. Like, this film for me is, I just think it is as good as it could be. It's such a pleasure to watch. Like, it's really interesting. It's really engaging. The acting is across the board phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, everyone in this is perfectly cast. I really struggle to fault it. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, fair enough. No, it's a really good film. Okay, so give me a plot summary.
I will. This might be tricky because it is a kind of a convoluted plot, but I'll see what I can do. So the film is set in... So Fargo, it's directed by the Coen Brothers, obviously, who grew up in this area, which I think it accounts for the fact that they obviously have a lot of affection for it and they really nail the accent and the look and the feel of it all, of this kind of very quiet, nice, Midwest American town that's always snowy. Yes, it's set in Fargo in North Dakota. And so...
It's only in Fargo for like a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, basically, it's named after Fargo, but it jumps in between a few little towns in the... I guess on the border between Minnesota and North Dakota?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because there's confusion.
I had to look it up, so yeah, it is.
Yeah, same, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was all set in Minnesota, because that's where I associate that kind of speech pattern as being from. But actually, a lot of it's North Dakota. Anyway, don't think it matters particularly. So the film opens with William H. Macy as a businessman, a used car salesman called Jerry Lundegaard, and he is in a great deal of debt. He's taken out a loan on his house, I believe, for like $300,000.
Right.
And he's done that fraudulently because he needed the money for something. I'm not sure what. Doesn't matter. But he's fraudulently applied for this loan using false information about some of the cars in his lot as collateral. I think he might have made up some cars or something. He's done something dodgy. Basically, he's in way over his head. And now he's in massive financial problems. He works for his father-in-law, so he can't tell him. He can't tell his wife. He's got a young son he's got to support, obviously. So he's just at his wit's end. And so what he decides to do, because his father-in-law is very wealthy, is he hires 2 criminals, played by the brilliant Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare, Swedish actor Peter Stormare. He hires these two criminals to kidnap his wife, and then the plan is to get the father-in-law to pay the ransom, and then he will split the ransom with the criminals, hopefully thereby solving his money worries. Nobody gets hurt. A victimless crime. Of course, things do not quite turn out that way.
No, quite the opposite.
Because quite a lot of people end up dead by the end of this movie. High body count movie. Again, I love the way it spins out. Like, it really, from such a small loop, it spins out into his... Everything that happens because of his idiocy, basically. Like, he is... I've seen William H. Macy in a lot of films like this, but he's so good at playing like these weaselly characters. Like, it's just fun watching him squirm in this film as it all just falls apart around him, and he's trying desperately to like keep it together, and it just he's not cut out for the criminal life at all, this character.
You want your own wife kidnapped?
Yeah.
My point is, you pay the ransom, what, $80,000? I mean, you give us half the ransom, $40,000, you keep half. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, okay. See, it's not me paying the ransom. The thing is, my wife, she's wealthy. Her dad, he's real well off. Now, I'm in a bit of trouble.
What kind of trouble you in, Jerry?
Well, that's... I'm not gonna get into... See, I just need the money. Now, her dad, he's real well off.
So, why don't you just ask him for the money?
Or your fucking wife, you know.
Or your fucking wife, Jerry.
Well, it's all part of this... They don't know I need it, see? Okay, so there's that. And even if they did, I wouldn't get it. So there's that on top then. See, these are personal matters.
Personal matters?
Yeah, personal matters that needn't,
Okay, Jerry. You're tasking us to perform this mission, but you won't... Oh, fuck it. Let's take a look at that Sierra.
So the two criminals, they kidnap his wife, but while they are transporting her to the hideout, I guess, they're pulled over for speeding, I think, by a local police officer.
No, they're pulled over because they've got dealer plates.
Oh, that's it. They've got fake license. Oh, that's it, because
it's not fake license plates. It's just their plates are from a dealership, basically, saying that this car is not legal to be on the road.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's got dealer plates.
That's it, because they get the car from Jerry, from William H. Macy. He gives them the car as part of the deal. Yeah. It's just him not doing enough, not planning properly for this. So they get pulled over by a cop, and Peter Stormare's character shoots the cop dead. And then two passers-by drive past and see what happens, so then he also shoots them dead.
It's not a thing that annoyed me. I noticed in the credits, did you notice this as well?
Right.
That the passerby, the one who runs into the fields and then gets shot in the back, they were credited as the artist formerly known as Prince.
Oh, yes.
As in the symbol.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, no. I looked it up. Oh, I didn't look it. I then went back in the film and like, that's not Prince.
Decidedly not Prince. Like a fairly chunky white guy. Like, that's not what Prince was.
Yeah, and I looked that one up online. Like, oh yeah, and they also put this in the credits just to annoy people. And I was like, God damn it, they got me again.
I like that the Coen Brothers just indirectly trolled you through this whole... All the things that are proud to annoy you, they did. Great. So they get shot too. So basically now three innocent people have been killed in what was supposed to be a very simple kidnapping scam, basically. Yeah. So then they take the wife, Jean, to the hideout and hide out for a few days. And then we're introduced to the star of the film, you would probably say, Frances McDormand, as Marge Gunderson, who is the police chief of the area. She's heavily pregnant. And she's assigned to the case, which you get the feeling that this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened in this town. Yeah. I don't think she's dealing with murder on a daily basis. Basically.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Because the film does a great job of like capturing like...
Oh, saying that, she's not like surprised or...
No!
Or like, there's a joke here where like she sees the dead bodies and then she goes to throw up. Yeah. And the guy's like, you're right. Oh yeah, it's just morning sickness. It'll pass.
She's a great cop. And that's what I really like, because the character is, you kind of primed to initially just kind of laugh at her because she's got the funny accent, the fantastic helmet of hair that she's got. Like, I loved all of the, like, again, this is something the Coen Brothers do very well in all of their films, is like the little details that they can just enjoy, like in the costume in the background. Like, everything about the way the characters looked, it really screamed this kind of like middle America, working class 90s, like so much beige. Everyone was in so much beige and so many like chunky knit sweaters with no sleeves. I noticed that a lot. The hair was, her hair was just, again, there's just fantastic helmets.
Yeah.
But yes, and so you think of her, and because she's like heavily pregnant as well, you're like, oh, she's going to be like the fun, incompetent local cop who's never had to deal with anything more serious than a bit of shoplifting or something. But no, she is completely unflappable. She makes smart choices, and she always does the right thing.
Like when she interrogates someone, she's just the right amount of friendly and intense.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like, do you mind if I take a seat? I'm carrying a lot here.
Yeah.
And then she just hammers someone and just...
Exactly, yeah. I thought throughout the whole film she was...
Like that scene where she sits down with William H. Macy in the...
Yeah, one of the best scenes in the film.
Yeah,
it's so
great.
good, the tension they ratchet up while also being really funny.
Yeah.
I love the scene when she's interviewing the prostitutes.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean...
he's funny looking.
Yeah, kind of... But she kind of gets what she needs out of them. Like, because she doesn't... So there's one of the things that happens early on is on the way back to the... Is it on the way back to the hideout? They hide the prostitutes?
So, yeah.
So I'm guessing that the wife is just in the boot of the car at this point or something. But they stop over in a hotel and they hire the two criminals, Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare. They hire some prostitutes, some local girls, and they sleep with them.
Yeah.
Great shot of them like having, fairly enjoyable looking sex, and then it's just smash cuts to them all like watching like boring TV together in the hotel.
Yeah.
I love that.
I mean, it's weird they're in a 2-bed motel room having sex. Like, no.
Yeah. Their relationship. I had a lot of questions about how those guys knew each other, what the nature of their relationship was, because it was... I mean, clearly they're not friends, because Peter Stormare, spoiler alert, acts as Steve Buscemi in the groin or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've definitely got a weird dynamic. Like, yeah, they don't seem particularly concerned about having sex literally right next to each other.
No.
But yeah, so then there's a scene later on when Marge is kind of retracing their steps, and she interviews the prostitutes, and she's so good at it because it's a really funny scene. I think that's the peak of when they really play the accent for laughs, because the girls have both got the really thick, and it's just lots of, oh, I'm going to do it, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. I'll drop in a better one. I'm not going to. But yeah, she doesn't seem like she judges them for being prostitutes.
No.
Like I think in another cop movie, it'd be like, they put them on the defensive a little bit, but she's just like really nice and friendly, and she lets them talk, and she listens to them talking pretty much nonsense, but she feigns interest. Like, it's not helpful to her that he's not circumcised, or that's not what she's asking. Yeah. But she gets some information that she kind of can use, like and she works with it. So, and that's kind of the thing in this whole film, that she's very competent, and nothing phases her.
Okay, I want you to tell me what these fellas look like.
Well, the little guy, he was kind of funny looking.
In what way?
I don't know, just funny looking.
Can you be any more specific?
I couldn't really say. He wasn't circumcised.
Was he funny looking apart from that?
Yeah.
So, you were having sex with a little fella then?
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else you can tell me about him?
No. Like I say, he was funny looking. More than most people, even.
What about the other fella?
He was a little older. He looked like the Marlboro Man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But maybe I'm saying that, because he smoked a lot of Marlboros.
Uh-huh.
Like a subconscious type of thing.
Oh, yeah, that can happen.
Yeah.
Hey, they said they were going to the Twin Cities.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, is that useful to you?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Yeah.
So the film then kind of follows her as she is investigating the case, basically. So she interviews... how does she find out that it's connected to Jerry Lundegaard in the first place? To William H. Macy? I'm trying to think. Oh, is it his car?
Yes, it's a car from his dealership.
How does she find out about that, though? I can't remember now. The details aren't that important. It's more like...
Well, I think that because the
no, it's his wife has been kidnapped. Duh.
Oh, yeah.
Joy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, so she sits down with him, and we get some fantastic scenes of him just being...
Well, no, sorry, because there's two separate crimes as far as she knows. His wife being kidnapped, and then the people who were murdered.
Sure.
She's not put two and two together necessarily. So I think that for a while she's only interested in him because the car came from his dealership.
Sure.
Because the cop who died put down it was dealer plates, so maybe he's the only dealer in town.
Oh, so they do... Okay, the reason I asked this is before we started recording, you were asking if they had the same car, the criminals had the same car for the whole film. The car isn't left at the scene of the crime, no, it's just the guy wrote it down.
Yeah, because the cop wrote DLR.
Oh, he did. You're right. Yes.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
And then somebody's looking for number plates beginning with DLR, and then she's like, dealer plates.
Yeah. Yeah. Another example of her being very good at her job.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. I get it now. So yes. So she's investigating that. She talks to William H. Macy's character, and these are some of the best scenes when she asks him to do some inventory to find out if any cars might have been stolen, and he's just such a terrible liar. Like it's so obvious that he's involved in some way, and it's just great because, as I said, she doesn't get too aggressive. She kind of lets him spin himself out.
Yeah.
And he just watching him squirm. William H. Macy is one of the best like squirm actors in Hollywood, I think. It's just really, really, really well done.
Yeah.
So she kind of looks into him, and then what else does she do? There's a great scene that's kind of seems not particularly relevant to the plot, but again is maybe one of the funniest scenes in the film, when she meets up with an old friend of hers. So she's happily married. She's pregnant, obviously. She's got a lovely husband. They seem like they're very happy together. It's very sweet. But yeah, she gets a call from an old... Oh, that's because it goes into the paper, doesn't it? Like the story goes into local newspaper, and she gets a call from an old classmate from school, Mike Yanagata or something, and so they meet up. They meet up for like a coffee or something, I guess, to catch up. And oh my god, it's one of the cringiest scenes in film history, but it's so good.
She handles it so well.
She does, yeah. So he's like, he just makes a very uncomfortable. And remember, she's heavily pregnant. Like, it's clearly not the time.
Yeah.
He like makes a very awkward pass at her, and she's so polite about it. She's just like, you know what? No, you can sit over there. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then he just completely melts down, and it's. But like in a film that's only 90 minutes long, like this scene doesn't. I don't think this scene really informs anything else that happens. It's just a little moment, just to. I think because in a lot of films, especially crime films, the characters are so like two-dimensional. It's like, this is the cop, this is the villain, this is the victim. Whereas this gives them all these weird little details that just kind of makes you believe that they're people. And that's what this scene is, just a little window into her life, and it just this sad, funny little moment that she has with this old flame or this old schoolmate that she had. Like, and then she finds out that he was making the whole thing up, which just makes it even more tragic.
Oh, Chief Gunderson then. Oh, so, you went and married Norm's son of a Gunderson.
Oh, yeah, a long time ago.
Great. So, what brings you down? Are you down here on that homicide, if you're allowed to, to discuss that?
Oh, yeah, but there's not a heck of a lot to discuss.
Okay.
Well, what about you, Mike? Are you married? You got kids?
Yeah, well, I was married. I was married to... You mind if I sit over here? I was married to Linda Cooksey.
No, why don't you sit over there? I prefer that.
Huh? Okay. Sorry.
Oh, no, just so I can see you. Don't have to turn my neck.
Oh, sure. I understand. I didn't mean to...
No, that's fine.
Sorry.
So the time comes to hand over the ransom, basically. So the idea is that William H. Macy is supposed to hand over the ransom to the criminals, and then obviously when the wife gets released safely, they're going to split the difference, and that's what's supposed to happen. But, first of all, William H. Macy is ripping everybody off because the ransom's set at 80 grand, so he's going to give the criminals 40 grand.
Yeah.
But what he actually tells his father-in-law that the ransom is $1 million.
Yeah.
So he's trying to skim a huge amount off the top, obviously, there. But it all goes horribly wrong when his father-in-law, Wade, who clearly despises him, which is another great source of like comedy in this film, that the father-in-law just has no respect for him whatsoever.
No. Rightly so.
Rightly so, he's dreadful, yeah. But like, even without knowing that he's responsible for it all, like... Yeah, so he decides that he's going to be the one to hand over the ransom money, because he's providing the ransom money. He doesn't trust Jerry not to screw it up, basically.
Yeah.
Why is Jerry always the name of characters who are just like complete putzers?
It's great, isn't it?
I was just thinking, we've both been rewatching Rick and Morty recently in preparation for a quiz we're going to do. Have you ever seen a TV character in film or TV called Jerry who's not...
Jerry Maguire.
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
Boom. Got you right there.
I've got to stop challenging. At least there was no money involved there. I've got to stop challenging these things. I'll give you £1,000. You can name a single movie Jerry who isn't... Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll take it back. Yeah, so the father-in-law decides he's going to be the one to collect the money. So he does that with Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi goes to meet him, does not take this well, because he's obviously been led to believe he's going to meet William H. Macy. Instead, this new person shows up. So he panics. They end up getting into a fight. The father-in-law shoots Steve Buscemi through the mouth, which 2 movies in a row, someone gets shot through the cheek, I noticed.
Yeah,
but,
true.
So Steve Buscemi gets shot through the face, but survives.
Yeah.
And then he shoots Wade dead. He shoots the father-in-law dead and takes the money.
Yeah.
And obviously ends up with more money than he ever dreamed of having. So, and then he goes and swiftly buries all but 80 grand of it, I guess.
Yeah.
In the snow.
Yeah.
And then goes back to the hideout. where it turns out that Peter Stormare, the other criminal, has killed the wife because... Did she try to escape again?
I think he said like she was getting annoying or something like that.
Oh, you never find out, yeah. She wouldn't stop screaming or something, yeah. It's incredibly, like, low-key. You don't even see it, like...
Yeah.
Which makes it kind of all the more chilling, because in the beginning scenes, the wife puts up a reasonable fight, like, to stay alive. Like, when they first break into a house, like, she really, like, does her best to get away, so...
Yeah.
Like, doesn't do a brilliant job, but
no.
you know, she tries, you know, she's really fights it, so then just out of nowhere, she's off screen, she's just dead. It's a very, like... shocking moment. So then he's quite obviously that kind of screws up a lot of their plan, basically. I don't think Peter Stormare cares.
No.
But then Steve Buscemi obviously then gets very mad about that. He doesn't know what they're going to do. And then Peter Stormare just kills him. Just comes up behind him, shoves an axe into him.
Yeah.
And he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Marge has been continuing to do her investigations, and she just talks to people around the town, like just has very nice, friendly conversations and just gets what she needs. And again, somebody spotted them. Was it the hotel owner or something? There was someone who was like, "Oh, I saw them driving down this way," and she decides to drive by and investigate them.
Sure, yeah.
So she's doing the loop of the lake where she's heard that they were last seen.
Yeah.
And sure enough, she sees the car, and then she pulls over and goes to investigate. And she spots, in probably the most iconic scene of the whole movie, she spots Peter Stormare feeding the artist formerly known as Steve Buscemi into a wood chipper.
Yeah.
Just to get rid of the body. And and then she pulls a gun on him and tells him to freeze. He tries to run away. She shoots him in the leg, crack shot, and she arrests him. Then Jerry gets arrested as well. You see him like pathetically trying to run out of a hotel room.
Yeah.
And and that's kind of the end of the movie.
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's also not too much.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, it's a good film.
So that was Mrs. Lundegaard on the floor in there. And I guess that was your accomplice in the wood chipper. And those 3 people in Brainerd. And for what? For a little bit of money. There's more to life than a little money, you know. Don't you know that? And here you are. And it's a beautiful day. I just don't understand it.
Any other thoughts before we get to drinking games?
Nah, let's move on.
Okay,
so the first one I've got here, quite an easy one. Drunk for gunshots.
Gunshots, okay. Are there that many?
There's a few here and there. Like, I guess if you were to line them up and then drink evenly, like, there's nothing, then all of a sudden there'll be like 7.
Yeah.
So
fair enough, yeah. Well, I had similarly drink for deaths.
Yeah.
Because it really makes me laugh, because for such a small little crime, not that kidnapping is an insignificant crime, but I mean, like, for such a low stakes kind of thing that's happened in this tiny little town, it's not the kind of thing where there's like gang warfare. It's 2 cheap local criminals, you know, and some stupid businessman who's not got any plans.
Yeah.
And yet 7 people die in this movie.
7 people.
So there's the first one to die is the cop who pulls over the 2 criminals. Then the two passers-by, they get killed. Then I think the next one is the wife, maybe? Or maybe it's not clear at what point she's killed.
The wife or the dad?
Yeah, the wife, the father-in-law, that's 5.
Yeah.
The parking attendant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember? That was a needless death. That poor guy. And then, obviously, Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Who has the most memorable death.
Yeah.
So, yeah, wow. It's a bloody film.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, okay. So, next one I've got is... Well, it's a lot all in one. It's drink whenever someone says the words, you betcha, darn tootin, Margie, funny looking, yeah, or G's.
Yeah. Well, I drink for colloquialisms, so yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. It's just so good. Like, just the idea of
Dan
setting...
Tootin was my favourite.
Yeah, Dan Tootin. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny, yeah.
Oh, are you going to kill him? Dan Tootin.
Yeah. It's just such a nicey phrase.
Yeah.
Like, nobody ever says that anymore. But I think that's the genius of like setting like a serious look, like a heavy, bloody criminal film in the like most rustic place in the world. Like, if you did this film, if you did a British version of this film, it would be set in mid Wales. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it would just be like if Gavin and Stacey had a body count. You know?
Yeah.
Drink every time you spot the Paul Bunyan statue. That's definitely its own character in the movie.
Yeah. Drink whenever the Swedish guy speaks.
Yes, he doesn't have a lot to say.
No.
He's very, typically Swedish. Right? You know, his real name is... So, the actor Peter Stormare, which is a good name. His real name is Rolf Storm.
Rolf Storm?
His first name is Rolf, and his surname is Storm.
Wow.
That's an actor name, sure.
Yeah.
Like, that's like an X-Man.
Maybe thought it was too much.
Probably thought it was a bit too much, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes there's a fine line between actor name and stripper name.
Yeah, to be fair, it does feel more like a stripper name.
Yeah.
So... But he's great. I love Peter Stormare. He's one of those, that guy actor. He always shows up as like, I don't think he's ever played anyone who wasn't actively terrifying. Like, he's got one of those faces, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, drink every time Marge and Norm are relationship goals. They are such a sweet couple. I loved all the scenes of them just being like, yeah. Again, just little details. Like he likes painting ducks onto stamps. He's entered a stamp competition to paint ducks.
Yeah.
And she's just as invested in that, if not more so, than he is in her multiple homicide. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that when she comes home, he starts talking about his stamps. She instantly switches to just being fully involved, fully engaged in that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's...
And she comes home, like, this is after, like, she's caught everybody.
Yeah,
there's been all these deaths and everything. She comes back, she lies in bed, and then he says something, and she's like, oh, I'm so proud of you. That's fantastic. You've done that little thing. That's great.
I took down a murderer today, but you won that. You came third in the stamp competition. Like, it was really sweet. But also, I felt like it made sense for the character, because it's like, okay, she's got this job that's probably really... Because in that speech she gives in the car earlier, when she's talking about how she doesn't understand why people would cause so much pain for money, like, obviously her job is quite upsetting at times.
Yeah.
I feel like her home life, she deliberately just like, that's when she switches off for the day, she's done, and this is the thing that makes her, you know, she doesn't have to think about all the nastiness in the world that her job kind of puts her in front of a lot of the time. So I thought it was a really, really sweet, and just so many nice fun little details. I loved all the time that they kept bringing each other junk food constantly. Like, they're sat in the bed together watching TV, eating crisps in bed. It was just very sweet. Like,
Yeah,
they were great.
okay, so next one I've got drink whenever somebody puts on a coat or a hat.
Oh, yes.
A lot of this.
I mentioned before, loved all the costume choices in this film. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, William H. Macy, for the majority of this film, is wearing two hats.
Yeah. He is. It's a good look. Oh, speaking of actually hats, and to both of our points, drink for receding hairlines. Just lots of characters in this with various stages of male pattern baldness going on.
Definitely, yeah. Similar to that, drink anytime anybody refers to Steve Buscemi by his size or appearance.
The little fella, the funny looking guy. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Like, I feel like this is like established. I don't know what. I'm sure he was in things before this, but this is really is like peak Steve Buscemi. Like,
yeah,
there's everything that you like the most about him encapsulated in this film, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Similarly, drink every time Steve Buscemi takes physical or mental abuse.
Oh yeah, sure.
There's nothing better, is there, than watching Steve Buscemi just getting absolutely the shit kicked out of him, or getting horribly abused by people. Like,
he is just so good.
He really is.
Because he always plays that character. He always plays that character who's not that good looking, and is a bit of a weirdo.
Yeah,
I think my favourite Steve Buscemi line is, "Oh, hello, fellow teenagers."
Well, yeah, that's in 30 Rock. Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
And this is old Steve Buscemi as well.
That's like only 10 years ago. Yeah, he would have been in his 50s, but yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. The Coen Brothers put him in this and made him go through all this shit he goes through in this film, and then immediately put him in The Big Lebowski. You know what I mean? Like, they just love to torture him.
Yeah,
it's great. Like,
I'm done.
Oh, you don't? Okay, sure. I've only got a couple more. Drink every time Wade, the father-in-law, undermines Jerry. Just lots of passive-aggressive. no offense, Dre, but you'd only screw this up. Let a real man handle this. It's like,
Yeah.
It's such like father-in-law from hell kind of scenario. Like.
Yeah.
Drink every time Jerry lies badly.
Sure.
And I think last one, drink every time Jerry throws a tantrum.
Yeah.
That was really funny when Marge questions him, interrogates him, and then she walks out and he just starts like screaming and like hitting things and then he runs away and she's like, oh, he's fleeing what's the line she uses? Like, he's fleeing the scene of the crime or something. Like,
oh yeah.
He's fleeing the interview.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. Yeah, very good fun.
Great. Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed it. If you'd been bored by this, I would have been annoyed.
Yeah.
Oh, for Pete's sake. For Pete's sake, he's fleeing the interview. He's fleeing the interview.
Okay, so before we talk about sequels, I want to let you listeners know that if you've enjoyed this episode or any other episode, then we're actually available on Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/beyondtheboxset, you can support us for as much or as little as you think we're worth. You get a few bonus features by doing so. First one, you get twice as many episodes a week as you would normally get. You get our bonus show called Beyond the Box Set, where we review cinema releases. I think tonight we're going to go and see
Are we still seeing Countdown, yeah?
Countdown, which looks like a bad horror movie with an interesting idea.
Which is one of my favourite kinds of horror movies.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But we did recently review...
Doctor Sleep?
Nope.
We're going to review Doctor Sleep.
I know, yeah. We're about to record our Doctor Sleep review. We're also going to record our Terminator review.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
What's the one before that?
Ready or Not?
Ready or Not, thank you.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, probably going to be the good version of Countdown. Like,
yeah.
what Countdown should be, because that was a great film that knew exactly what it was trying to be. Spoiler alert, I rated it a 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's the...
I stand by it.
Okay, fine. Well, I stand by Fargo.
Great.
Which one's in the AFI Top 100 Films of All Time?
Yeah, because that's everything.
Sure.
Which one won more Oscars? Well, we don't know, because
I
the
mean, it's
Oscars
too
haven't
soon
come
to say,
round yet.
Yeah. I've got high hopes for Ready or Not in the Oscars, yeah.
We'll see. Also, if you become a Patreon, you get a 30-second advert slot on the main show. You can talk about anything you want. It can be your own podcast, your own business, whatever you feel like talking about. It's your time. Do with it what you will.
Indeed.
Also, once a month, we have a Patreon episode on the main show as well. That is, we will pick a patron at vaguely random. We'll keep it fair.
Yeah.
And you get to choose a film. You can guest on the show if you wish. You can come in person, do it online, or just get us to do the film for you and you just listen later on.
Sure.
It's up to you. It's your choice. And finally, the last thing you get access to our exclusive Facebook group for Patreon members only. And that is a beautiful place online full of great people who are all chatting great shit.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
Join us. Get closer to us. Get to know us better.
Yeah. So all that is available at patreon.com/beyondtheboxset.
Indeed.
Okay, sequels.
Great.
I believe I'm going first.
You are. That's the rule.
Now, I've not really got a title that's relevant to this.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it is. We'll let you be the decider of that, John.
Okay.
So I've called it Fargo 2, Too Far Gone.
Too Far Gone. Is that 2 the number 2?
It can be, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Oh, okay. But you say that might not... Is that just not relevant to the plot? It's just...
I basically just made the title. I had a few title ideas. That was the best one. I've not really thought about one that matches the plot. Maybe it does, though.
Well, tell me the plot and I'll let you know. Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, so picking up fairly close after the original.
Okay.
Frances McDormand, that's Margie, isn't it?
Yes.
Is she's the inspector or something?
She's the police of chief of police. I've only had 2 beers. She's the police of chief. I did it again. The chief of police. What's wrong with me? The chief of police for this town. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, obviously, not many crimes happen in this small town.
Sure.
And so she wants to get it right, so that she looks good and doesn't want to miss anything. So she's trying to put together all the pieces of information on this case to work out exactly what happened
from the original film.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that the case can be correctly presented in court.
I see.
Without any rock left unturned. So she's obviously very good at her job, as we've discussed. Now, there is one thing that she notices that doesn't quite add up, is that the amount of fuel left in the tank doesn't match up with the routes that she believes that Steve Buscemi drove.
Ah, okay. We're going to get into the hidden money. Excellent, okay.
So yeah,
we didn't talk about that. Close to $1 million in this movie just goes missing and nobody knows about it or finds it because everyone involved is either dead or in prison.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. So she goes back to her office, and on the wall there is a notice board full of pins and strings and maps and pictures of people. You know the drill.
Yes, classic local police station. Yeah, setup.
Yeah,
great.
And so one of her co-workers walks into her office, and this is where I've got a lot of script. We can do this together, or I can do it if you want, but I'm not doing an accent either way.
We'll split it up. If you just read multiple characters, it's going to be hard to understand. So
okay, you read first, and we'll go at every other paragraph.
Okay. So you're Marge Gunderson, and I'm police officer number 2.
You're called Frankie.
Frankie, okay. Margie and Frankie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. Oh, hey. Why are you still doing this, Margie? The case is closed. You've got 2 perpetrators with cause. You've got 2 perpetrators with cause who have just gone on record and admitted his crimes, and the crimes of the chippered partner. That accent went all over the place. I do apologise.
That was something special. There's something missing, Frankie.
Marge has gone very British. Now played by Dame Judi Dench.
Do I sound like Judi Dench?
No, you don't. Sorry.
There's something missing, Frankie. This all seems too simple. The remaining fuel in the tank doesn't match the mileage that we have here.
Seriously, Margie? You're 8 months pregnant. I feel like I sound like It the Clown.
You do.
Seriously, Margie? You're 8 months pregnant and the case is done and you did a great job. Go home. Nobody would think less of you. And besides, what if it wasn't a full tank when you started driving it? Eh?
Sorry, she's not Canadian.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm reading this cold. Give me a break.
I've not written in any accent marks for John here, by the way.
I'm just bringing myself to the script.
Anyway, I already checked that. I went to the dealer and they have a fuel shortage of 8680, which is approximately the full tank of a Buick 990.
You Googled that, didn't you?
I did not. I made it all up.
Okay.
Sounds good though, right?
Yeah. Plausible.
So that means that he drove a 23-mile route, which we haven't accounted for, and it must have been somewhere between the multi-storey car park and going back to the cabin with the chipper. He didn't have time anywhere else. Okay. So like she's worked out everywhere that he's been and when he was there, and there's a certain duration that must fit in that bit there.
Again, I like how you've really lent into her being a very good police officer.
Yeah,
I like it. Okay, Margie. I feel like Margie's the only word I can do. I can see there's no stopping you. Let me know how I can help to get this done faster so you can go home.
Okay, well, we need to find a route between the car park and the chipper, which is 23 miles longer than it needs to be. So get on it. And from here, we get a bit of a montage of the 2 of them separately, measuring every possible combination of routes to try and where he might have gone.
Okay.
After a day's work, they're narrowed down to just 2 routes. There's only 2 routes that it could have been. One stretching out to the east and one to the west. Okay then, so we're going to search both routes. You take the west, and I'll take the east. Say, sure thing, Margie.
Sure thing, Margie.
So they each take their assigned routes and slowly drive them looking for clues. It takes a while. Well, not clues, but just like things that don't quite look right.
Yeah, sure.
It takes a while, but eventually she finds the red de-icer thing. And she has to dig around in the snow, and she very quickly finds the case of money.
Oh, great.
She takes it into her car, and then has a look inside, and obviously there's still like $900,000 in there or something.
920, I guess it would be.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Calculator.
Yes, I'm well known for my math skills. That took a lot of mental arithmetic right there.
Yeah, so she doesn't immediately drive off. She stops and she has a bit of a think. We see her look down and rub her baby bump, and then she reaches into the bag and takes out half of the money.
Ooh, Marge is going rogue.
Stashing it in her glove compartment.
Oh my god. You've shattered my...
Well, she's thinking she's got a baby on the way. She's only on a police officer's salary. And
I mean, sure,
and,
God...
Norm's not getting a lot of money.
No,
he's just earning whatever from his 3-cent stamps.
True. No. I mean, it's perfectly fair. Like, yeah, but good on her. But Marge, I thought we were better than this.
Yeah, me too. But
I like it. You're adding shade to the character.
Yeah,
she's got layers. She's morally complicated now.
So she then drives back to the station where she announces what she's found. This case of $500,000. Her partner is impressed. And then after debriefing like her superiors back at the state chief, I don't know, whatever, whoever's in charge, Marge announces that she's taken her maternity at once.
On an unrelated note, I'm not working ever again. See you, suckers. I'm moving to the Bahamas.
Well, no, I mean, people are encouraging her to take her maternity, and she's
sure,
like, "No, I know there's something missing from this case. I'm gonna find it." She found it, so she's like, "Right, okay, now I'm at home. See you guys later."
That's fair. Okay, sure.
Yeah. I didn't say taking her retirement.
No,
I said
sure.
taking her maternity.
Sure, okay.
Like, I'll see you in 9 months or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Or a year. So, cut to a week later, and the case is being processed with the additional evidence. And you may have forgotten the business partner of the dad.
Oh, there was a business partner, yeah.
Yeah. So he gets in touch with the police department, and he speaks to Frankie, and he reports that a large sum of money, approximately $1 million, is missing from the dad's funds. Now they've been going through his estate and his will and stuff.
Did he not know that the deal was happening, though?
Maybe.
They had the conversation.
Yeah.
The three of them were in the cafe together, weren't they? William H. Macy, the dad, the father-in-law, and this guy. If we're thinking of the same guy, he knew that there was a ransom involved.
Ah, right. Okay.
Although I don't know whether he thought...
Okay, sure, yeah. That's...
But either way, like, he knows that there should be...
Whether he knew or not, he's getting in touch. There's
Yeah.
$1 million unaccounted for.
Yes, sure, yeah.
And, it's obviously more money than totals what was found in the case and by the wood chipper.
Yeah.
And that's all I've got here. We can improv from here.
Sure.
But from here I was thinking it's basically a sort of cat and mouse between Frankie and Margie.
Oh, so now Marge is on the other side of it. Now she's on the run. Mm-hmm. So you're turning Marge into a criminal.
Yeah.
I like this. I mean, she's not done the best job of covering her tracks so far.
So it's a week later, or maybe it could be more time later. In fact, no, I think it's a week later when businessman gets in touch with Frankie.
Sure.
And Frankie's like, wonder if Margie took that money.
Yeah.
And he doesn't quite bring himself to do anything about it for quite a while. Better idea. At that point, somebody comes in and says, Margie's had the baby. And so then he's like, oh, do I take $500,000 away from my good friend Margie? You know, she's just had her first kid. And I know she's struggling for money and stuff. So what do I do here? And then, I don't know, maybe that's how it goes. And then a few months from now, he gets a bit jealous. For some reason, maybe he's got his own problems going on. Maybe he's got a kid in the way as well. He could do with some of that money.
Well, yeah, exactly. If this is a Coen Brothers film, he's going to have a whole life of his own that they're going to.
Maybe he blackmails her.
Oh, interesting.
And maybe he says, "Hey, Margie, you better share that money with me."
Yeah, we can make this go away if you give me half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to dob you in.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't want to do that because I don't want to take money away from little Bertie there.
Everything has to end with an IE. Great. Okay. I kind of, if you're going to go down this route of making Margie a criminal, I think you should go all in.
Okay.
So maybe this Frankie goes to confront her in the maternity ward. Like, she's lying in bed. She's quite tired.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
No,
carry on.
Okay. But there's no one else around. Like, he lets himself in, and he's like, so I know what you did, and like you said, if you give me half, I can make this go away. Mm-hmm. And then maybe she seems agreeable, but then she just has with a hidden gun she's got hidden underneath her hospital bed. She shoots him dead, and then she gets out of bed, throws him out disposes of the body, and just becomes like a psychopathic killer. And then we're just getting the dark side of Marge, and then she has to cover her tracks stuff, find a way to make his death look natural, all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you're gonna go there, then go there.
That one seems a bit quick. Is my only thing that
I like the idea of her having a gun underneath in her hospital bed, having just had birth.
Maybe she shoots at him and he dodges and he runs.
No, or maybe she kills him a few days later, not in a way that's less obvious. Because if she shoots someone in the middle of a hospital,
I want a bit of a chase between a cat and mouse thing between the two of them.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I went too far.
Too far too soon.
Too far too soon. Later on, she kills him.
Yeah,
but there's a whole cat and mouse happening, and at a certain point, she's cornered, so she kills him, and then makes it look like an accident or frames somebody else. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe she frames Norm. She's fucking cold.
Oh, Norm, no. Oh,
hey, you've turned this character into a criminal.
Oh, but how is Bertie going to get by without a dad when his mum's a psychopath?
Yeah. Well, who else could she frame? That's all the characters.
The businessman.
She could frame the business partner. Yeah, that could work. Yeah. Actually, no. Yeah, leave Norm alone. Nobody wants to break up that relationship.
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'd like it that if she turns into this mastermind criminal and then she still will just come home, exhale, and then oh, you've done so well with your stamps today, Norm. Oh my God, that's so good.
Actually,
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, no, I like that. Okay, cool. But yeah, I think I would like to see her turn into a full criminal. Yeah, I feel like this is maybe even a mini series rather than a film.
Yeah,
it just follow. It's
Fargo, a TV show. Oh, that's a good idea, John.
That's just crazy enough to work. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, so that was Fargo Too Far Gone.
You know what? That title kind of works.
It does work, doesn't it?
Because it's like Margie's fall from grace. Right?
Yeah.
She's gone from being this heroic figure to a murderous criminal. Okay, no, yeah, I think that's actually a very appropriate title.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, very good. I like that a lot.
Great.
Okay, so that brings us to me, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
My sequel is also a direct sequel, but mine sets actually in the present day, so we're talking about 25 years on.
Sure.
Just under. I think this one came out in 1996, so 22 years on.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter, basically.
23.
23,
Nearly,
sure. Yeah.
Nearly 24.
Okay. Someone's better at maths than me. Yeah, so 23 years have passed. And this movie is not going to focus initially on the main characters from the original film. This is going to focus on a new character who lives in the same town.
Mm-hmm.
She is going to be a middle-aged housewife living in Minnesota. And in between raising her 3 adolescent children and volunteering at a local homeless shelter, and she's a very kind of wholesome, Midwestern character, like many of the ones you would expect to see in this kind of film.
Yeah.
In between all of that, she's an avid fan of true crime podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing I've learned since getting into the podcast game is that
True crime sells.
In particular, like women seem to love true crime. Like, not to stereotype, but it seems like women and mums and like middle-aged ladies seem to be all over like the most gruesome true crime podcast. It's a really funny, bizarre thing I find. I don't know what it is, but like I love it. Like,
Sure.
So I'm thinking this woman, she's going to be called Carol, and she's going to be very housewifey, and she's going to be played by Melissa McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she could nail that accent.
Oh, yeah.
Because the accent,
I believe she could.
Yeah, the reason I want to do a podcast is basically what I really want from any sequel to Fargo is just more of hearing that accent. So I just want more, as much talking as possible.
Yeah.
So Melissa McCarthy in this town sets up a true crime podcast with her best friend Judy, who's going to be played by another actress who does excellent accent work, is Catherine O'Hara from Schitt's Creek.
Oh, yeah.
The mum from Schitt's Creek.
Mm-hmm.
I think those two would be very good friends together, and I'm pretty sure she could nail that accent because, I mean, she's the queen of accents on Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
I didn't have to think about her English accent that one time to crack up.
Yeah.
Hey folks, how we doing today?
Excited beyond compare.
Anyway, so they decide to launch their own true crime podcast because they're such fans of the genre, set in their small town.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, because they live in the nicest place on earth, the only notable crime that's happened in the past 30 years is the infamous Fargo murders, in which 7 people were killed in a failed kidnapping scandal.
Mm-hmm.
So they set out to investigate the case and try to dig out some new information. Mm-hmm. So all of this is basically just an excuse to kind of catch up with all the characters 23 years later and find out where they all got up to.
Yeah.
So obviously the first one they're going to interview is Marge, as the police officer who was in charge of the case at the time. And I feel like she's continued to rise up the ranks, and she's like now quite high up in local government, because I think she's obviously been promoted well because she's as we've mentioned, very competent, very thorough.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to think, I don't know what her role is, maybe she's like the mayor or something, or basically what I want is for her to be in the Fargo version of Parks and Recreation. She's got a whole bunch of like local bureaucrats, all with that accent.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine Parks and Rec, but with this accent again,
Right.
and in a very snowy, in a permanently snowy city,
Yeah, yeah.
So she's now in charge of all of that. So she's like running the town, and she's running the shit out of this town. Like she is very good at her job. I want to give her a happy ending. So she's got she's got this son now who's probably in his early 20s, and she's still very happily married to Norm. So yeah, that's her story. Then she goes to the prisons and she interviews the 2 criminals who have survived. So Peter Stormare obviously got life imprisonment.
Yeah.
Because he literally killed people. So he's still in prison. And I feel like it'd be funny if he's...
I feel like in court he wouldn't have held back either.
Oh yeah.
Like when someone says, well, why did he kill the daughter? He'd be like, she was noisy.
Yeah, I feel like he would have said all of 2 words in his court case. Yeah. So it wouldn't have been hard to convict him. But I think...
Well, I feel like he wouldn't have lied or tried to tell, a better looking truth or anything.
No, he's entirely fatalistic, yeah.
Yeah.
So my thing for him was I think it'd be really funny if he's been in prison now for 22 years. And in that time, he's had a complete reinvention. He's become very zen. He does lots of yoga, he meditates, he does anger management. He's completely turned his life around.
Yeah.
He's still in prison for life, obviously, but I think it'd be really funny if rather than him still being, because it'd be easy to be like, oh, he's the top dog, he's head gangster, if he'd gone completely the other way and now he's incredibly peace and love, and I think he should wear like long flowing robes over his prison suit and do lots of guided meditation. So I think that's where he's at. Jerry's probably out by now because he didn't actually kill anyone directly, so he probably served maybe, I don't know, for conspiracy. So, and fraud, I guess. And maybe manslaughter, I don't know. He's indirectly responsible. I mean, it's all his fault, but he didn't kill anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he probably got maybe 5 to 10 years, you know.
I feel like it could be something like that, yeah.
So he's out now. But obviously he's ruined, like his, you know, all his money's gone. You know, he went bankrupt. There's no way he's getting back into the family business, obviously. I feel like his son is not speaking to him anymore.
Yeah.
I think he should be in like a really pathetic, like...
Oh, I forgot he had a son.
Yeah.
He forgot a lot of times, didn't he?
Yeah, the whole... Yeah, he forgot he had a son, exactly. Yeah. Like that poor kid, what a traumatic weekend for him, like, you know. But yeah, I feel like the son now runs the company because he'd be the next in line, you know, probably with the business partner.
I mean, he's not like heir to the throne.
No,
the guy wasn't king.
No, but you know what I mean. Like maybe he's maybe the business partner, but the money that the father-in-law had, you know, minus that $1 million, unless like he literally had only $1 million, not only $1 million. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If they are that wealthy, you know, the money has to go somewhere. The wife is dead. It ain't going to Jerry anymore, clearly. So maybe the business partner that you mentioned in your one took over the business, and then when the son graduated from college or whatever, he took him under his wing and gave him, you know, a fast track to taking his place in the family business, basically. Yeah. And so he's clearly never speaking to Jerry anymore. He has utterly disowned him, basically. So I think Jerry should be working as like a janitor or, you know, a librarian, or not to denigrate these career choices, but like he's got to be kind of really low on a very low level job now, and like, you know, he's kind of, I'm thinking of like Gil from The Simpsons, you know, like the guy who's like, Gil's in over his head, like
poor Gil.
That poor Gil. You know, it's that kind of feeling. Jerry is the eternal optimist, but he's just, you know, clearly his life he's screwed up his own life with his terrible decision making. So I think it'd be good to step in on him. And also I think, and this is going to be the main plot, is that because Jerry's been working like in these low-paid jobs ever since he got out of prison and life hasn't gone too well for him, he's had a lot of time to think and like justify it to himself what happened back in the day. Because his character's like such a weasel, and I want to like really lean into that. So maybe he tells the podcasters, Melissa McCarthy and Catherine O'Hara, he tells them that actually he was innocent the whole time. And what actually happened was that the criminals blackmailed him. They came to him and said, and maybe they kidnapped his wife or something, and then forced him to play along.
I see.
And this isn't actually what happened. He is actually guilty as sin, but he's come up with this whole cockamamie story about how he's innocent. And the two women, because they're so excited to have a lead, you know, the part of the case now, they really fall for it hook, line and sinker, so they really start defending him. And then they like dig up this case that's been like open and shut, that was, you know, completely closed 22 years ago, and they kind of use their podcast, which becomes a huge success, to kind of and this is going to be the main plot, to kind of campaign to reopen the case and clear his name, and potentially even get him his money back. And they turn Jerry, who's this complete weasel, into like a figure of sympathy, into like a, you know, a wronged man who got caught up in a corrupt police officer's, you know, insane quest to close a case. So like then they put Frances McDormand as the bad guy, even though she's not. And maybe because she's risen up into like local politics, like it's easier to paint her as a villain. And so then the case gets reopened, and they're trying to like have Jerry's original conviction withdrawn, and then you can have like I really want a court case, basically. Because again, I think what's the most accent we can get is if there's like a lawyer and everyone's giving depositions and it's a court case. So yeah, I'm thinking like they reopen the case and then Marge has to give evidence, you know, and she's obviously going to nail it because she's brilliant. But yeah, it's mostly going to follow these two podcasters as they maybe as it goes along they realise they picked the wrong team, and then they have like a moral dilemma to deal with. But yeah, that's ultimately kind of where it's going. I think it's just a class reunion, whatever happened to the survivors, and then also culminating in a big court case to try and clear Jerry's name, which obviously has to conclude with it failing. It has to conclude with, you know, Marge. I'm not going to turn Marge into a villain like you did. Like she's got to get a win here. But yeah, and maybe the podcasters learn a valuable lesson about, you know, believing women and believing other women, and
No, that's good. That's good. What was it called?
That was Fargo 2: Murder in Minnesota.
Ooh,
that sounds like a good...
Nice. That sounds like an Agatha Christie.
I was also thinking like what a true crime podcast name might be, and that's, you know, Murder in Minnesota. Sounds good. I just want Melissa McCarthy to do that accent. I feel like it's a no-brainer. And maybe there's a subplot
really
with Jerry trying to reconnect with his son, and the son's just having none of it. Like,
yeah, I like that very much.
Cool, great. I think we've both come up with fairly doable ideas this week.
Yeah.
So, should we move on to some listener submissions?
Okay, well, most of mine here are just titles, but I'll see. So, first one I've got here, Gary Gorecki says, I think season 1 is a pretty good spiritual sequel that actually carries over a big element from the film. I would say season 2 is a pretty good prequel in moments, but I understand not a lot of that is A to B. I think the characters work so well together and actually a lot of them die, so it's just hard to do a sequel or prequel without going too far out of the way.
Fine, I said I was sorry. Is this just all? Is your section of listener missions all just going to be raves for the TV show that neither of us have watched?
Nah. Frederick Baudet, or Baudet maybe, says, make it a mixed sequel with No Country for Old Men.
Oh, yeah.
Xavier Bardem's character comes back to get the money. A couple of idiots found it and bragged about it. Thugs are also after them. Carnage ensues.
Oh, that'd be good. I mean, you've not seen No Country.
I don't know what most of that means, but it sounds good.
Yeah, no, you know Javier Bardem, right, from the Bond... Was it Spectre? He was the... Yeah. Skyfall, yes. Yeah, so he plays a bounty hunter in No Country for Old Men, and he's very intimidating. It's very like role he was born to play. It's great. Yeah. You would love that film. We'll do it sometime, definitely. I mean, not right away, because we don't want to overdo the Coens, but yeah.
Caleb McCracken says, Fargo 2, back in the habit of pregnancy.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
I feel like Caleb McCracken always does back in the habit, but at least he's mixing it up a little bit. So
we'll keep track of that now, Caleb. Yeah. Tom Price says Fargo 2, 3-cent postage stamp.
Like that.
Sure.
Maybe that's the whole film, but from Norm's perspective. Just him going through his like ordinary day, and every now and again his wife drops these subtle hints that she's having a much more exciting adventure.
Yeah. Sean Broussard has just posted the poster of Kumiko the Treasure Hunter.
I got that too.
Did you?
I've never seen it.
I've never heard of it.
Clearly there's a connection there. I'm sorry, but we don't know about it.
Yeah, it got a love. Fargo 2, Twoan McGregor.
Oh, because Ewan McGregor's in... Apparently his accent work is terrible. I've not seen it, but I've heard that his accent work is not good.
So yeah, Twoan McGregor.
Although apparently Martin Freeman, very good.
Sure.
Yeah. They always put British accents in these things. I don't know.
Jesse Newell says Fargo 2, Electric Boogaloo. I'll have to keep track of that. See if Jesse Newell does that a lot. Brian Stafford says Near Stop has the exact opposite plot of Fargo.
Oh, I said Fargo Near Stop. It's a pun.
Oh,
or
right.
Play on words,
got it. Thank you, Brian. Well done. Great. That's me done.
Okay, cool. Okay, I had some as well. Although I think we've got a few repeats. So Ollie Brady said Fargo 2, The Legend of Margie's Gold.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess The Legend of the Money. But yeah. Ben Batchelet said Too Far to Go.
Nice. Yeah.
Rob London said, oh, this is a good one, Son of a Gunderson.
Yeah.
Norm Gunderson and his now 23-year-old son are pitted against each other in the federal duck stamp contest. Nice. Yeah. That was another good line, just a very throwaway, but I did like it. Oh, so you married old Norm, son of a Gunderson. Robbie Daggett said, Fargo Mia, here we Fargo again. Scotty Lundegaard refuses to accept that Jerry is his father after all of the terrible things that he did. So he goes on a journey to find his real dad, sets the music of ABBA. Like it. Saskia Kiel did a spin on Electric Boogaloo, but she said, at Fargo 2, Electric Wood Chipper?
Ooh.
Yikes. Jessica Gambling said, this time it's a really deep dive into the world of bird painting. So... a lot of love for Norm in these sequels, which deservedly so.
Yeah.
And Ira Ray said, did anyone already say Near Stop? Which they did.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Over on Twitter, Cinema Recall at cinema_recall said, I have one idea for an original sequel. Pain and Gain is Michael Bay's remake or reimagining of Fargo. I did not know that. I've not seen that film. My sequel would just have Marge going to LA to stop the crimes committed by inept weightlifters. So, yeah, Pain and Gain's that Michael Bay film he did in between Transformers that was supposed to be like his serious art film, and I'd not seen it, but I know it's about like weightlifting, so which doesn't sound particularly serious, but who knows. That's as serious as he gets, I guess, Michael Bay.
I mean, there can be serious stories in everything.
I'm sure, yeah, maybe it's great, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm sure weightlifting takes its toll.
Oh, I'm sure it does, yeah. Well, you tell me, you clearly do a lot of it, you know.
I mean, just like a fork of food from the table to my mouth and repeat.
Yeah. A Piece of Pie Pod, at Piece of Pie Pod, said, the TV series serves as the perfect sequel. Ugh. The events of the film are only tangentially related, but just enough, and it all clicks into this really interesting Coen Brothers multiverse I didn't even know I needed. Fine, I'll watch the TV show. God. And finally, at A Nonny Mouse said, who knew that in 1996 that the Coen Brothers were just getting warmed up? Which I don't know if that's just a comment on the fact that they made so many good films after, or if it's like a pun because it's so cold in Fargo. And
could be
both. But yeah, I mean, it's true. They went on to make and continue to make amazing films. So.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for those sequel ideas. We ask for your listener submissions every week a few days before we record by posting posts out on Facebook and Twitter where you can post your ideas. So make sure you like and follow our pages if you don't want to miss out. To listen to more episodes of Beyond the Box Set, you can subscribe and browse our back catalogue on any podcasting platform, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and many others. And if you really like the show, please do consider leaving us a rating or a review.
5 stars or only, please.
Yes, 5 stars only, or do not bother.
No.
As mentioned,
we have an excellent average rating.
We have an excellent average rating and very fragile egos. So, as mentioned before, we're also available on Patreon, which is exclusively for the kind of people who would only rate us 5 stars or more if they could. So if you belong to that bracket, get on board, support us for as little as $2 a month, and you can access all of the fabulous incentives that Harry outlined in our interval midway through the show. You can find all those links in the description below or at beyondtheboxset.com. And next week, are we back to you, Harry?
I believe we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got 2 films in mind and I can't decide which.
Is it the 2 films that you're going to be watching for 2 Geeks 2 Movies?
No.
Oh, good.
No.
Because I heard that episode and I was like, oh, I know what Harry's picking next.
Yeah, I'm not going to do Spartacus.
Oh, no, I thought the other ones after that.
Oh, the ones after that. Oh, also, no.
Okay, good. Cool.
No, both of these are good films. Both of these contain multiple great actors.
Okay.
Not just good actors, great actors.
Great actors, okay. Horn and Corden.
Yeah, they're both in both, yeah.
Oh,
wow. John, please choose A or B.
Interesting, okay. I will choose B.
All right, okay, so we're going to be doing a film starring Tom Hanks.
Always a good choice, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And many other people, including, I believe, Stanley Tucci and Zoe Saldana and other people.
I don't know what this is. Is this Catch Me If You Can?
No. This is The Terminal.
I have not seen The Terminal.
Have you heard of it?
Yes, yeah, that's the one where he's like a foreign guy who lives in an airport terminal, right?
Yeah, that's it.
If you'd said Tom Hanks and Catherine Zeta-Jones, I would have got it right away.
Is she in that?
Isn't she like the second lead after him?
I don't know.
I think she is. If I'm remembering correctly. I might be wrong. Maybe she's not in it.
I mean, if she's playing the character I think, I don't think she's actually in it that much. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She's the second lead according to Wikipedia, yeah.
Yep. And IMDb.
Great, so she's...
But she's clearly not the second most memorable for me.
Okay, so you this is a film you've already seen and you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular reason for choosing this, or just
I just
good
felt
film?
doing it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Fair. I've never seen it. I only very tangentially know what it's about, so...
I think that'll be a good one for making sequels to.
Okay. Who directed that one?
I do not know.
Anyone famous? Oh, Spielberg. It's a Spielberg film. Fabulous. Okay. I'm excited to see that. Cool. Okay. Great stuff. Well, join us next week then for The Terminal. Thanks a lot, guys.
See you next week. Bye.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, is that useful to you?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Yeah.